Hi, I'm Bill Jefferson, and I've been running track all of my life, ever since I was a young boy. And I started out just like most track runners on dirt tracks, and worked my way up to cinder tracks, and eventually up to beauties like this. And there are a lot better tracks in the world also at this time. But what I like to take this time to talk about is a concern of mine, and I think a concern of a lot of track runners who have been complaining to me and complaining to other people about some of the things that are changing. When I was a boy, there was something called track smarts. There were things that we did. It was called Respect for Track 101. And we seem to all know that. But unfortunately, it seems as if over the last few years, there are a growing number of individuals that don't seem to have that knowledge about what a track, what you should be doing on a track, and as far as respecting the track and the other runners that are on it. And what I'd like to do right now is to take a moment to kind of refresh people that should know, and to kind of enlighten individuals that don't know. So let's take a moment. First of all, what we're looking at here is a 400-meter, 8-lane, calibrated piece of just sheer workmanship that allows the athlete to become excellent or build up or whatever you want to call it. But you know, you see a lot of individuals out here spending an inordinate amount of time working on their form and their speed and all sorts of things in order to be better, more efficient runners. Most don't seem to know or want to know anything about the rules or regulations of using the track. I think many people still see the track as just an inconvenient patch of land between the spectators and the hallowed ground of the football field. And if you're lucky enough to have an all-weather track like this, it's a marvel of engineering, built to allow, once again, the athletes to reach their fullest potential. We're talking about $200,000 to $500,000 worth of investment, and that's nothing to be sneezed at. I'd like to talk about number one here is that a track is not a playground. It's not a nursery or a place for young or old children to play with toys, roller skates, ride bikes, or run around willy-nilly. And I think too often what happens is I've seen that happen, and I've seen almost just horrendous accidents. Also, the track should be seen or thought of as an 8-lane superhighway. And thinking of the first 1, 2, 3, 4 lanes being the speed lanes. The individuals who are in competition want to use those lanes in order to be able to tune themselves up, because if you're lucky enough in a competition, you're going to be in lanes 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we look at lanes 5, 6, 7, and 8. And lanes 5, 6, 7, and 8 are usually thought of by a lot of individuals as the slower lanes, the individuals that want to walk slower or run slower or just jog. The 5 through 8 are pretty safe lanes to be in. I think what I've seen too often, what I've been concerned about, and I've had a lot of individuals be concerned about the same thing, is I've seen individuals walking in lanes 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3, 4, 5 people abreast, as if they're marching somewhere, and that's just completely insane, especially when they see that another individual is actually using the track and trying to use those lanes. I don't know about you, but that just really floors me, especially when you run up on those individuals and they want to give you a sort of a hate stare because you're running and they're conversing. And I realize that individuals are out exercising. That's always good to hear, and good to see. But unfortunately, what they're doing is actually blocking a lane, and it's something that they would never do on a football field or a basketball court. Another peeve that I've heard from a lot of teams come and they use the field, like the soccer team or a lacrosse team. Too often what happens is that they put all their gear in lane 1, or lane 2, or lane 3. And unfortunately, for anyone who is a runner, they know that's a big no-no. I mean, we've always been taught to put all our gear in lane 8 up against the fence, because that that leaves all the lanes open, and that's important that you're leaving the lanes open for individuals who are either competing or training or whatever they're doing at that time. And I think it's inconsiderate and it's just disrespectful. Another thing is that a track is not a garbage dump where you drop your candy or your gum and trash. That basically makes it a very unsanitary, unsightly place, and it's just a safety hazard. There's nothing worse for a track runner to be out on a track and it spikes and hit a puddle of gum, especially in this Arizona heat where it gets up to 200,000 or 300,000 degrees out here, and it's just yucky, nasty, whatever you want to call it. Let's see. Let me go on here. The track is not a lounge. I've come out to the track too often where I've actually seen individuals laying, talking, not even exercising in lanes 1 through 4, with their friends. And it's really infuriating when they know that you're running down the lane and they're not going to move. In essence, what they're forcing you to do is to go outside of them in order to be able to use the track, which is completely insane. Thing that's important here, and that's when someone yells track. That was rule or respect for track number 1 when I was a boy. When someone yells track, that means get your tuchus out the way. I mean, it's about that simple. It means move. You're obviously in the lane, and you need to get out of it. And 9 times out of 10, you know that you're in the wrong. And it's incredible the number of individuals that I've actually seen throw the finger up or give that or use some profanity or do all kinds of other silliness, that's disrespectful stuff, when they know that they're in the wrong. And I guess for anyone who is a runner, just completely drives you insane. I think what they don't realize is that if the individual is running 200 meters, or even if they're running a 5,000 meters, if they're at full gait, if they slam into them, it's going to be like a freight train hitting them. And I don't think that they're prepared for that. Unfortunately, it seems as if a lot of people just don't have that understanding of the respect for the track. So I know I've kind of just gone out here on a limb a bit about tracks, but I think what's happened is I've seen a lot of individuals like myself who have just been fed up with the number of individuals that just don't have track sense, or once again, what I talk about respect for track. Once again, what I like to talk about it's real simple. Lanes 1, 2, 3, and 4 are speed. Numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's real simple. They're the slow lanes. If you wish to come out to the track and converse with and have all kinds of a party with your friends around, you want to walk as if you're in a parade, that's great. But it's better if you're in 6, 7, and 8, because what happens then is you're out of harm's way. Not only are you out of harm's way, but you're leaving the rest of the track for individuals who are actually out here trying to do something, trying to build on this. I'm not saying, once again, that you're not. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that, once again, think of it as a super highway. Think about the individual who's traveling at 50 miles or 60 miles an hour when the other cars are going 65 or 70 in fast lanes. It just doesn't work out. So that's my little tip. Track. Respect for track 101. I hope I got it over. I made some sense to you guys. I know I'm rambling a bit, but this is something that's just been on my mind for quite some time, and I've just heard too many people tell me too many horror stories. I hope this makes some sense to you, and I hope it changes the habit so that we have more track sense. And you have yourself a good day. I'm going to take myself a run right now. Bye-bye.